What's going on, Gifted Hands family? It is Elijah here bringing you another lesson, and in this video we're going to be talking about B major gospel harmony and theory, and this is going to be the last video of the series. We made it through all 12 keys, y'all. And if you've watched all the videos in this series, big ups to you. Yo, you're the real MVP, the champ. Because, man, this is a lot to make it through and be able to play in all 12 keys is a huge accomplishment. If you've learned your major scales, if you learned the diatonic chords, if you learned the cycle of fifths in all 12 keys, yo, you've definitely leveled up your playing. So congrats to you. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about, we're going to finish it off and figure out what we need to play the fundamentals, to learn the basics in B major, as well as how can we approach B major in an advanced way, right? So, just like all the other videos, first thing you got to know to play in B major is the B major scale. So what is the B major scale? All right, B major. So we got 5 sharps. This is a sharp key. We got 5 sharps, and it's gonna be C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp. So the only white notes we have in this key is the 1 and the 4, the B and the E. All right, everything else is sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Walk it back down. All right, so that's our major scale. You want to learn that in 4 to 5 octaves, learning it in parallel motion, contrary motion, all that good stuff. All right, after you learn your major scale, the next thing you're going to learn in B major is going to be your diatonic chords. If you don't know what diatonic chords are based off of the major scale. So every major scale has 7 notes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we got 8 or 1. It repeats after 7, okay? So 7 notes in our major scale. And each of these 7 notes has an associated chord that goes along with it. So our 1 chord is major. 2 chord is minor. 3 chord is minor. 4 chord is major. 5 chord is dominant, which is major triad, but dominant 7th. 5, 6 chord is minor. 7 chord is half diminished. You can extend it, and then the 1. All right, one more time. All right, so those are our diatonic chords. Learn the triads, learn the 7 voicings first, and then after you learn your basic voicings, your basic chords and chord qualities, then you can take it a step further. And all of these exercises, all the fundamental exercises that I give you have levels to them. You can go levels deep, layers deep. So you learn them in the basic way, triads and 7 voicings. Then we build on top of that with extensions. Then we build on top of that with experimenting with chord voicings, rootless voicings, things of that nature. Then we take it a step further by adding notes that are outside of the key. All right, but that's our diatonic chords. Or those are our diatonic chords in our diatonic exercise. After you learn that, the last fundamental piece that you need to play in B major is going to be your cycle of fifths. Cycle of fifths is just a progression that you can play in any key. So it's gonna follow this pattern. It's gonna be the 2 chord, then the 5, then the 1, then the 4, then the 7, then the 3, and the 6. All right, and pretty much that progression follows the diatonic chords, except for the 3. So the 3 diatonically is supposed to be minor, but we're gonna make the 3 dominant in this progression because the dominant chord, when we play the 3 as a dominant, so in this case D sharp 7, it wants to resolve to the 6, right? A dominant chord actually wants to resolve down a 5th. So a 5th away, A flat or G sharp is a 5th away from D sharp. So our dominant chord has a stronger resolution to the 6 chord. The 3 as a dominant resolves to the 6 chord stronger than if we played it as a minor chord, which is why we played the 3 as a dominant in this progression. All right, so once again, 2, 5, 1, 4, 7, 3, 6. One more time. 2, 5, 1, 4, 7, 3, 6, 5, 1, 4, 7, 3, 6. 6 dominant. 2, 5, 1, 4, 7, 3, 6. All right, so that's that progression. And same thing with the diatonic exercises. We can start with the basic chords, basic seventh voicings. After you get comfortable with that, you want to start adding extensions. Or actually, even before you add extensions, you can just experiment with your chord voicings and inversions. Inversions, chord voicings. Focus on getting comfortable with different types of chord voicings and inversions. After you do that, then start adding extensions. After you do that, then you can start adding alterations to the chords, right? So 2. So this right here is an altered chord. I'll play like this. This is a 5 chord, rootless and altered. That's what I mean by altered. Meaning I took one of the notes of my F sharp dominant chord, this is a 5. I took the 5th, raised it a half step, which gives me the sharp 5, okay? And I'm playing it rootless. To the 1. And then we can play the 4 altered. So the 4 is major, right? But we're gonna add an altered note, which is the sharp 11. So the 11 is the same thing as the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's my 4 of E. I'm gonna sharp it, raise it half step. And then that gives me that chord. Then let's go to the 7. So we can play the 7 as like a minor 11. Or we could, let's make it dominant. So dominant 7, dominant 3, sus 6, dominant 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, 7, 3, 6, 6 dominant. All right, so you can take those chords and, like I said, alter them, either altering the chords or changing the chord quality completely, right? So another way we do that is if we do 2, 5, 1, 4, 7, 3, 6, 2. I can change up to 2. Instead of making it minor, we can make it dominant. 2, 5. Instead of making the 5 dominant, we can make the 5 minor. And then the 1. So we can make the 1 dominant. Instead of it being major 7, we can make it dominant. To the 4. And like I just said, the 7 is supposed to be half diminished, but we can make it dominant. We can make the 3 dominant. We can make the 6 major even. So there's a bunch of different things that you could do to experiment with those chord qualities and those chords. But at its basic level, that exercise is just 2, 5, 1, 4, 7, 3, 6. And I'm not going to get into the theory of why you can change chord qualities and make some chord dominant and others minor, and but it has to deal with resolution. So in that exercise, pretty much we have a basic format of where we're going, right? We know we're going 2, 5, 1. So it doesn't matter if I'm playing this after you learn it the basic way. It doesn't matter if I'm playing this as a minor, the 2 chord as a minor, the 5 as a dominant, to the 1, right? I could do 2, 5, 1. So 2 dominant. We could do 5 dominant to the 1 major. We can mess with those chords as long as it sounds good in terms of where we're resolving to. Even when we get to the end of the progression, we do 7, 3, 6, right? And then we're supposed to start the progression over, right? 6, 2, 5, 1. So we could do 6, 2, 5, 1. What's the next chord? 4. So why does that work? It's because we're changing our chord qualities to resolve to a different place. So it doesn't matter what chord we decide to finally resolve to. Just it has to be one of the chords in the progression, right? So in this, 6, 2, 5, 1. Instead of resolving to the 1, normally we would resolve on the 1 chord and make the 1 major. But because the 1's dominant, we're actually now going to resolve to the 4 chord. All right? And if this is not making sense, check out my Gospel Keys Masterclass. Check out the Gifted Hands Academy as well. In those resources, those learning resources, I go step by step and walk you through, all right, here's the beginner's approach to these exercises. Here's specific notes, specific chords, specific fingering that you can use for all of this stuff. Then I walk you through an intermediate approach to these exercises. And then we finally walk through an advanced approach. And I actually go into detail about why the theory behind all of these things and why each of them work. I'm not just going to spend too much time because literally in these resources in the masterclass, in the Gospel Keys Masterclass, I spend hours, literally hours. We have like a 30-minute lesson on the beginner approach. We have lessons on the intermediate approach, lessons on the advanced approach that talk you through the why behind it works. All right, the why behind why it works. Okay, so yeah, that's that. Those are our fundamentals in B major. Learn that, and then the next step is to figure out an advanced approach. Because if you can get through all that stuff, you should be past the beginner phase. You're pretty much at an intermediate approach if you can play all that stuff. And yeah, you're probably thinking, all right, I got this stuff down. How do I get to at an advanced level? How do I approach B major in an advanced way? So what 2 ways that I'm going to give you to, after you get out of the basic stuff, after you get out of the beginner stuff, you're in an intermediate phase, 2 ways that you can get to that advanced level, all right? So way number 1 is going to be to study records. When you study records, find records in the key that you're trying to get comfortable in. It's going to give you new approaches, new chord voicings, new ways to play in that key. So one song that is in B major that, man, one of my favorite gospel songs of all time is Smile by Jonathan Nelson, right? This is on one of his older albums. I don't remember the name of the album. I think it came out in like 2010 or somewhere around there, 2008, 2010, maybe somewhere around there. But the song goes like this. Here's my worship, take joy in it. Whoops. In it. Make this your dwelling place. Wanna put a smile on your face. I bring in my heart to you. All right, so that's Smile, how it goes. And that song, man, is just beautiful. I don't know, for some reason, that song just speaks to me. First time I learned it was amazing. And still is amazing. But like one thing I pulled from that song was just how they use simple chords. They use simple chords, like a lot of those chords aren't super complex. They're not fat chords like with alterations and extensions and all that stuff like we just played earlier. They're really just, there's a lot of triads in there. So here's my worship. That's 4-3, or really 4-1. That's the 4 chord E major to the 1 chord B major. But what they did 4 to 1 over 3, and then adding the 2. Something there, like that simple movement is just beautiful. And that too. Got to take us to church. So 4-3. And then really they're doing 5-4. But listen to that song, you could do 5 over 7 to the 4 over 6. So instead of just playing it 5-4 in root position, they're kind of inverting those chords. Like kind of drop 2 voicings. And then even that, like the way they pass to the 6, I think they do that in that song. I play this 2 chord, like 2 as a major, and then we're inverting it, or putting the 3rd in the bass. Then we're playing the 3 as a major with the 3rd in the bass. So 2 major, 3 major, and that passes us to the 6. All right, so and then they do like just a bunch of like real pretty stuff, pretty piano stuff in that song. So yeah, like studying songs like that will give you maybe some new ideas. Maybe you never heard like a walk like that to go to the 6. Most people, especially gospel musicians, we play 7, 3 to the 6, right? That's the go-to passing progression to get to the 6. So maybe hearing something like that to go to the 6 is a new approach for you. You wouldn't have learned that if you didn't listen to songs. All right, so yeah, let's studying records. Find records in the key that you're trying to get comfortable in this case B, and learn the record, learn the piano part or whatever instrument that you play note for note, right? It's gonna help you improve, and you're gonna hear new things and new ways to play chords, new ways to play progressions, new ways to pass from place to place to place. It's essential. Studying records is a must. All right, so check that out. Jonathan Nelson, Smile is the name of that song. Smile by Jonathan Nelson. This is like maybe 4 or 5 albums ago. But you'll find it. Just type it in on Google. It'll pop up. Amazing song. I think Tasha Cobbs did a version as well, but I like the Jonathan Nelson version. So yeah, that's one way that we can improve and start approaching songs in an advanced way is by listening to the pros who are actually playing on records, right? The other way that we can do it, that we can get to an advanced level, is by picking out a song. I like to pick out and do this with hymns, but you can really do it with any song. Pick out a song and figure out how to personalize the song. So using all the chords that you know, using all the theory, all the technique that you know, I like to just spend time with one song. And I'll usually do this like in all 12 keys, like I learned the song in all 12 keys, but we're specifically talking about B major here. So we'll learn the song and I'll figure out, man, how can I make this song sound like me? Like not learning it for somebody else, but with what I know, how do I put my personality, how do I put my personal stamp on that song? You want to do the same exact thing. So actually another song that was on that same album by Jonathan Nelson was Draw Me Near, right? It was actually the track right after Smile, if you're gonna listen to the album. And it is also in B major. They kind of transitioned from Smile to Draw Me Near. So Draw Me Near, great hymn. Let's see. Draw me nearer, nearer, blessed Lord, to the cross where thou hast died. Draw me nearer, nearer, blessed Lord, to the cross. All right, so we got that song, right? I'm just gonna spend some time and like, if you're sitting down practicing or looking for something to practice, take a song that you already know. It could be this song, it could be some other hymn that you already know, and just figure out what can I do to make this song sound like me. So this song at its base is Draw Me Nearer to the 4, so that was the 1, and then Nearer, blessed Lord, to the 1, to the cross, 4. I just walk it down. 4, 3, 2 to the 5. Draw me near. 1/3. Nearer, blessed Lord. Flat 7. Precious. D2, 5, side. So I'm just gonna figure out, man. All right, maybe let's add some passing chords to that. So draw me near, Maybe instead of starting on the 1, we start on an inversion, right? Nearer, bless the Lord. Maybe something like that. Because we're going 1, really the basic progression is draw me nearer, nearer, blessed Lord. 1, 4, 1, right? So any way that I can get to and from those chords is cool as long as I land on those chords. So let's spend some time and experiment with how we can do that. So we could do draw me near, or actually let's do 1 over 3. Draw me nearer, nearer, blessed Lord. All right. So what was that? Draw me near, 1 over 3. Instead of just playing the 1, we're inverting it, putting the 3 in the bass. Draw me nearer. And then let's do 5. We can do 5 minor. And then most people would go to the 1, but let's just walk it down chromatically. So we'll do 5 minor or to F dominant. All right, and then that'll take us to the 4. So 5 F to the 4 nearer. So 4 nearer, bless the Lord. 1 over 3, right? And then we can make that 1 dominant. Just playing it rootless. So playing this chord on my left, just taking away the root. So leaving me with the 3rd and the 7th. And it's going to be a passing chord to the where thou hast. What's that? 2. And I'm still looking at that as the 2. I just went 2 minor to 2 dominant, and I played it rootless. So 2 minor, 2 dominant, rootless. 5 over 7. And then we can do something like that. 5 over 7. This is like my 2 chord. Looking at this as a 2 chord, so like a C sharp dominant chord, inverted. I mean, I got the 6 on the bass, 6 in the bass. 5 over 7. 2 over 6. 5. 5 dominant, rootless. So back to the 1. So near blessed Lord, flat 7. To the minor 6. 4 chord as a minor 6. I got it inverted, E minor 6. 1 over 5. 6. Precious. Leading side. Whoops. To that precious. Leading side. Or even let's, excuse me, maybe we want to end it off to the precious. Bleeding 2 5. Something like that, which would be G major, which is like the sharp 5. So sharp 5, and we'll go slide the minor 3rd to D major. So G major to G major, G major to D major to the 2. So we leave the key, go back into the key, of B major. So 2, 5, 1. Okay. So all that was just like kind of spur of the moment, just experimenting and trying to see what can I do to make this on my own, right? And that's all you want to do is take a song and like just spend some hours. It could take hours doing this. And I'm not even trying to play the song in time right now. I'm really like experimenting harmonically, especially like for piano players, guitar players. You want to experiment harmonically to see what you could come up with. And then after you find something that you like, lock in like one arrangement of it, and then practice to a metronome or practice to a click track and worry about playing it in time. But just start off like learning the piano and like experiment with different sounds, right? Draw me nearer, nearer, listen to the thou has died. Ooh, I like that, right? What was that? Thou. Actually, no. Thou has. There we go. I like that. Thou has died. So, flat 7, flat 6, 5. Draw me near, and stuff like that. So, flat 7, flat 6, 5. What did I do? I don't even know. Something like that. So let me play it one more time. 2, 4, 2. All right. See, I'm experimenting so much I don't even remember what I was doing. Where thou hast died. Draw me nearer. All right, at this point, I'm going far left. But I just wanted to show you like how I would just sit down and like really play a bunch of different chords. The key with that is trying to keep the melody line. If you're gonna try experiment with reharmonization, you just want to keep the melody line, right? So regardless of what chords you're throwing in there, make sure. Draw me nearer. Bless the Lord to the precious beside the I don't know. But yeah, just keep the melody line in there while you're experimenting and have some fun, yo. You want to create your own sound, and you create your own sound by not listening to anybody else, but spending time at the instrument by yourself and figuring out what you're capable of, right? So that is how we're going to end it off. Create your own sound. That's the word for the day. That's the message for the day. Hallelujah. But anyway, that's it for this series. We're done. We made it through all 12 keys. Thank y'all for sticking in there with me. Share this series with some friends, with your family members, with your fellow musicians, especially. Let them know that, hey, we walked through all 12 keys and learned some different stuff in each individual key. And yeah, now you should be able to play in all 12 keys. You know the basics. Check out some of the resources as well that we have here at Gifted Hands Music. I have a Gospel Keys Masterclass for the piano players who want to take their playing from basic to advanced. Gospel Keys Masterclass walks you through that step by step. I'm going to teach you the fundamentals of gospel music. I'm going to teach you the fundamental chords that you need. I'm going to teach you some of these exercises in more detail. And then I'm going to walk you through with a bunch of songs. We go through so many songs in that masterclass. And I teach you the songs, these songs from a basic approach and then an advanced approach. And I show you concepts and ways like theory, applications that you can apply, or theory things that you can apply to these songs to get a more advanced sound, right? So check out Gospel Keys Masterclass. We have Gifted Hands Academy as well, which is a monthly membership site, and a online music academy where you learn. We're teaching gospel, we're teaching jazz, we're teaching neo soul, we're teaching some pop stuff, some R&B stuff. It's not just gospel, it's everything related to music, and you get theory, you get song breakdowns, you get live calls that I'm doing. We're jumping on, we're doing live Q&As, all those types of things. But all of those resources are going to be on our website. Link will be in the description, so check those out and continue growing as a musician. All right, if you got any questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. All right, and then as well, if you know any songs in B major, drop those songs in the comment section as well below. I want to find some more songs in B major. It's kind of hard finding songs in B major. So if you know gospel songs in B major, let me know down below. Cool. If not, that's all I got for you today, and we will be back. Even though this series is over, we're not done. So we dropping more videos next week, so stay tuned. All right, I'll see y'all very soon.